Hey, it's Char, and I just put a post out on Facebook. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but it was a year ago today that I had somebody purposely attack me and wanted to destroy me. And he was very methodical, purposeful, and effective. And a lot of you woke up this morning and turned your TV on a year ago and saw me all over the news. If you bought a paper, I was on the front page of the paper. Who would have known this small little girl from Iowa could have been that important and that many people would care? So today has been a pretty emotional day for me, knowing who I was a year ago and who I am today. And emotional in a way that you're probably not expecting. Emotional in the sense that I'm so grateful. And through big challenges and chaos, when you go into those situations, it's truly a choice on how you choose to go through it. And from the very beginning, I started keeping a video diary, and some of you guys have seen the videos and started following these positive videos, but I actually have a complete behind-the-scene video collection of over 100 videos that documented the entire journey, what I was struggling with. It's very raw material, and I would find every single day and every single video I made was a way to turn that message around and get back to the world what I thought the world needed more of, which is good, positive stuff, not the negative stuff. And so this morning, when I was reflecting back on the year, I created a top 12 list of things that you can do when you're going through chaos. And I posted it on my wall as a backdrop, because the backdrop for my timeline said a year ago everything was different. And now I look back, I realize that a year can do a lot to a person. And that was a picture I found a couple days ago, and I thought, oh, that's going to be very appropriate. I want to make sure I saved it for today and put this message with it. And I believe that the message now also needs a video behind it, so I can kind of elaborate on each of these. So my intent is to share my journey, and that at any given time when we remember that we're going through something, coming out of something, or getting ready to go through something, that if you're not going through something today, that you bookmark this or save it or find it on YouTube. So in those moments when you are lost or you are going through it, I guarantee you, if you follow these steps, you will be able to get through even the worst situation that you never even imagined. So the first one is, you have to know from the beginning that you're going to choose to see this as an opportunity for you, all right? That nothing happens by coincidence, and that there's always going to be a purpose for any pain that is created in your life. And I chose from the beginning that this was going to benefit me. I chose to thrive through it so that I could benefit others with a message, and making sure at the very first day when I was in the parking lot of the jail that I documented this, because I knew that it would help other people. Today I'm stronger, and because I'm stronger, wow, that's been a hell of a year. Remember, tip 1, good always wins over bad. Truth will always win over lies. Sometimes it just takes patience for it to come out. Because from the very beginning, I had been telling the truth, and my intent's always been good. It doesn't mean necessarily that people interpret it as good. It just depends on where they stand, but my intent has always been good. And if it's ever come across as anything less, I'll apologize, because that would never be my intent. The other is that the truth will set you free. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for it to be heard. In my case, it took 200 days. It took 6 months for the truth to be heard and known, and not even known, because you guys don't know it yet, but you will. Keep watching. When your life is on fire, people run for their lives. It makes me thankful for the firemen who showed up and the friends who stayed. And this really happened when this first broke. All these people who I thought were friends and close friends and pillars in my world disappeared. And so all these people that I had thought would be there, or who I would have been there for, weren't. And I really had to get quiet and pray and ask God to soften my heart, because I was mad and I was hurt. And what God said to me was, you know what, if I had a party and I had 100 people over at my house and it caught on fire, I don't get mad at the people who run out of the house because my house is on fire. They're just saving themselves. It's not personal. It's not directly intended to hurt me. They're just in survival mode. And how thankful are you if your house was on fire for that fire truck that pulls up full of strangers that you've never met before? And there were strangers who came to my rescue last year at this time. 2 that stand out the most are Sheena Cochran Foster and Jamie Ponce, some of the best best women that I've ever met. And if you don't know them, you need to get to know them, because they were truly my firemen who came and rescued me last year when I was in the middle of all this chaos, and love to them. But you know what, when that happens, it was a fire. People were just running out. We're very thankful for the firemen that show up, and to make sure to slow down and thank them. And I'm so thankful for the friends who stayed and the friends who started shining through that process, because remember, misery loves company. So when you're struggling, a lot of people like to be there just to watch, but when your life's on fire, that's the true litmus of who your friends are. So for the people that stuck to me, I love you, and you know who you are. What was designed to break me only made me stronger, and in the end benefits me the most. Every step of the way, as I was being attacked, somebody put in anonymous calls to where I had office space, so I had to close down my office. This person, we know who this person was that made the phone call. Somebody keyed my car in my new driveway of the new house that I bought, that I put in my LLC's name, and took great caution to make so it wasn't public. And he found me. And I mean, I missed my daughter's complete senior year because of the accusations this person brought against me. And my daughter's senior year, captain of the cheerleading squad in 10th in her class, 12th in her class, her senior year was completely destroyed by what this person did. And through this, I knew that no matter how bad it gets, I went and referenced people who were in worse positions. In the Bible, there's a story about Job. Everything was taken from him. And I remember at times while I was walking around and all this is crumbling, I told myself, A, I'm not hanging on a cross, or my children are still alive. Nobody's taken my children. I'm still breathing. There are people who woke up this morning who weren't breathing. And so I know that this was all to make me stronger, and that it would benefit me if I would allow myself and my mindset to be open to the growth that was there. That leads right into the next time, which is to spend time to create a healthy mindset. And it's not just creating it once. There's a maintenance that has to go in. It's kind of like sweeping the kitchen floor. You don't just do it once. It's kind of a maintenance item. So you have to make sure that you're doing that before you need it, so that when you need it, it's there, it's solid, it's anchored. And so if your mindset isn't sure, and those mindsets are those internal conversations that you're having with yourself. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're not worthy of good things, or you're not valuable, or you're believing maybe some of the lies that people are telling, or even worse yet, people are believing the lies and you're impacted by what other people think of you? This process actually made me very, very thankful for the childhood I had, which was incredibly dysfunctional and filled with abuse and foster care. And it was a horrible childhood. I would never wish that on anyone. However, what I will say is through this process, I found myself reflecting back to that childhood and being very thankful for it. Because at a young age, I learned not to get acceptance from other people. I didn't even get it from my own mother. It was never good enough. And so from a young age, I learned to get my purpose and my value from myself. And at the end of the night, when I go to bed, knowing that I'm doing my best job, and that I'm bringing my best version, and that I'm loving the world, that's all you really can do. And so through this process, when all these people cleared out and all these rumors were spread and all these people were celebrating and the horrible things that were going on in my life, I no longer turned to other people. I just went back to what I knew. And that mindset and that growth of mindset is so very important. We brush our teeth every day. We go to doctors for regular checkups. We probably maintenance our cars more than we do our mindset. And your car does not help you through life situations. So you have to make sure that there's a concerted effort of feeding your mindset and that you're protecting it just like you would protect a child. And when I say protected, it means what you put in, what you surround yourself with. Are you watching the television, which if you are going to watch it, are you feeding your mind good stuff, or are you taking this emotional roller coaster of what the news puts on every day, or you think it's the end of the days? So be very protective of that mindset. Maintenance it, continue to feed it. And domestic abuse, it's very preventable. It's a generational thing. It's taught, or it's experienced, and that is what allows it to continue. And the systems that we have in place to triage domestic violence is just broken. And I hope to partner with places, things, charities, law people to get some of those changes that are needed. Now that I've walked through the entire process and see where the system's broken, I know where the change is needed. And I also know it's not a magic solution. It's very hard to make change happen, but I do know that domestic violence is preventable. It is something that within one generation could completely be gone. And so every single day that there aren't things in place that prevents it, is a day that didn't need to happen. And there are children who are growing up in these situations, men and women who are going through situations they don't need to go through. So I know in the coming months, in the coming years, you will see more of that. And it's also why I wear purple today, is that domestic violence is very preventable. And it's also that hush-hush thing that we don't talk about, but we need to, because it is very preventable. And usually what happens is the person who is hurting other people is hurting themselves. And if we can get to the root of a lot of the problems, it wouldn't happen. You can't trust, you're going to like this one, you can't trust what you see on TV is true. It's a form of entertainment. Treat it that way, all right? When you watch the news 24/7, it's almost like a cattle call of allowing them to guide you the way they want to guide you. You have such a magnificent brain, and it's a gift that you were given that you can use. That box that hangs on the wall does not have a brain. So you need to know that when you click on things, when you spread things and you watch things, not always the truth. And so let it pique your interest and then do your own homework. Because through doing that, people would have learned my situation wasn't true from the go. And they didn't have to wait 6 months. Next is you can't trust, not did that one. Hurting people hurt people. It's the only thing that makes sense to senseless actions. And I know the person that created this for me, I knew this person for 30 days. That's it. I knew him for 30 days. I tried to distance myself from him for 60. So 90 days from beginning to end is all I knew this person. 30 days, really. So there was obviously a lot of hurt in him before I ever entered the picture. And when we can get to the root of the problem, that's where change can happen. And I don't know this person well enough to go back and try to offer a guide or even actually at this point care. But know that if somebody is hurting you, hurting people hurt people. And there's something deeper in that person that's making that action happen. Never lose hope. This is probably one of the most important ones, okay? Don't get caught up, don't get stuck in the current situation. Use your imagination to focus where you want to be. And be very specific in that process, because this is the GPS for your future. So when all this launched and rolled out for me, and it just spread really quickly because this person started these false lies. I was on the news, I was on the newspaper, and then that person also spread it to the internet. And to this day, it just continues to spread and spread and spread, and it's all false lies. And, when at any given time I could have given up hope and just threw in I couldn't have. There's just a fighter in me, and a lot of it has to do with my childhood that got that in me, that I knew, you know what, if I'm here, there are other people here, and I need to walk this walk so that I can help them and I can make change happen. And I would use my, when I would find my mindset or my internal conversations going to a lack or going to a victim mentality or going to, this is horrible, I would imagine the situations that would balance this. And that is that, and I make this testament to you today, I will speak on a stage, I will help other people, I will change the system, and I will coach people into creating and living the better lives that we all deserve. That will happen. This person has created the platform and the stage that I'm going to walk on. He could have made it local. He chose to make it worldwide, and I will walk on that stage, and I won't just walk on it, I will own it. And so my fantasies, that's not the right word, my ideas wouldn't get caught up in where I'm at, and I'm all over here, and I'm doing this, and my kids can't come home, and that. My thoughts were, how is this going to help other people? How can I create change? Because if I'm here, there's other people here, and that's the whole purpose of this. So don't get caught up in your current situation of where you're at. Even if you call it imagination or dreaming or fantasizing, do that. Catch yourself thinking the bad thoughts, click it off, and you go and you find in your mind the situation of what's going to balance that, because that will happen, especially if you keep focused on it, because that's the GPS of your future. This is the most important one, is to trust God. Now, if you don't believe in God, or you believe in energy, Buddha, something else, it doesn't really matter. Whatever it is that is a higher power or a purpose to you that connects us all, you need to have that in place, because that will absolutely be your anchor through this process. I know I went to my Bible many times to find stories that would help me understand where I'm at. It would help me, it actually deepened my understanding of the Bible and a lot of the stories that were in it, and the time frames that were quoted. 40 days and 40 nights for Noah in the ark. Let me tell you, we hear that and you just think 40 days and 40 nights, but I can tell you day 23 and day 27 were really hard for him, because they were really hard for me. And it brought me at a different level of understanding how much we're loved and appreciated and how important each one of us are. So you need to have that anchor in place, because it has created these situations to grow us. And it's also created them to introduce us to people that we wouldn't normally meet any other way. And so turn it over. Let it happen. And this is very, very, very hard to do, all right? But you have to just turn over control and just observe what is going on, because it will allow you to show up in ways that will completely change the world. Because when you're no longer worried about steering and driving your own car and you just turn it over, now you can look around and you can see the scenery and you can see the people and you can connect in a way that you've never connected before. And there's only certain times in our lives where that becomes an opportunity. During these times of chaos, turn it over. And it's not easy. You just have to have that anchor in place and that trust in place that you can surrender and let it be what it is. The other is meditating or praying. I think it's kind of funny because they're the same thing. Maybe some's on a knee and some's on a lay down or whatever, but they're all the same thing. That you have to meditate and pray. You have to get still. Deep breaths. Because all the answers that you need when you're going through crisis are found there. They're not found in the chatter or the pollution of chatter that happens in chaos. It's found in the clarity of quietness, where you reconnect with your purpose and your God. And He will talk to you, and He will guide you, and He will tell you what you need to do. He was the one from my beginning when this happened who told me to start making videos and putting them out there, because when you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to hide. There's no reason why there's no reason why you have to go away or be quiet. So meditate, get still, breathe, pray. And remember this, that actions speak louder than words. So from the very beginning, when the words were everywhere and they were on the news and they were in the newspaper and they were just changing every area of my life, what I know was I was for certain of who I am, what my purpose is, and that I am telling the truth and that the truth will come out. And so my actions and how I proceed through this process will speak louder than any words that are currently being spoken. And usually we hear that saying and we think in the moment, but this is even long term, where your actions will speak louder than words. I know that in December, the end of December, there were some things that happened in court that were very debilitating and defeating at the time is what it felt like. And I remember in the first 24 hours, because the first 24 hours is your reaction, it's full of emotion, allow yourself that, allow it to flow through. But after that, I got into response and logic, and that's when I created the Secret Foundation and the Secret Network, which I pulled off, but I'm going to bring back on here shortly. And this will help if you know anybody moving anywhere in the United States, we're going to put them in touch with an agent in their area who will give 25% of their commission to a local domestic violence shelter. And so stay tuned, because you'll hear more of that. But being purposeful, because your actions will speak louder than any word. And if you're ever wondering how somebody is or who somebody really is, just watch their actions. Give it time. They will shine through. You guys, I share all of this because I knew from the beginning this is going to go help. And this is going to help so many people. And it's not just going to help domestic violence. This is going to help business owners. This is going to help corporate world. This is going to help charities, because that's what I intend. And so this is where I need your help. Because if you know anybody who's looking for a speaker, I'm willing to absolutely donate my time to come and speak to corporations, to charities, to small groups, to churches, to even one-on-one incidences, to inspire them to embrace who they are, because we are all equipped to be able to get through this life, and not even just get through it, but you're equipped to thrive through it. And let me share with you, if I can thrive through this last year, you can do anything. All right? And through breaking down and reflecting back, that's where our best lessons and connecting of the dots happen. And I am so thankful for the situation that was created, which is kind of odd when I look back. I'm thankful for the chaos this person created, because I know the good that it's going to go do, and I need your help for it. So if you guys hear an opportunity where I can come in and speak, please let me know, reach out to me direct. I would be happy to step in and help and make sure that the good outweighs the bad tenfold is what my goal is. And also, if you guys could go like my Facebook page, Char Klisares, Mentor and Speaker, is out there. You could share that or like it. I would highly appreciate that, because you guys know what? Through this, what I will never forget, and I've been saying from the very beginning, is that we are all powerful. And I don't believe that miracles ever ended because the book stopped being written. All right? I think miracles continue to this day. We just have to look at them, and we have to give credit to who belongs. And that is my mission, is to remember that we are all powerful. We've been designed that way. If you forget it, I'll remind you. We're all connected. We should never forget that. We know it as babies. We kind of get it when we're older. In the middle, we kind of forget. We need to not forget that, okay? You guys know what? I hope with this message you feel loved, because that's truly what my intent is. Because if I love you, then you can turn around and go love others, because it's what the world needs most. So you guys want to know what? It was a hell of a year. I can't see what the next year's got in store for me, but I can't wait to share it with you. So I hope you're having a great day. Go love somebody today.